In this video, I want to help you get started using the Calcudoku Generator. So the first thing that you see when you load the software is this screen here. And on this screen is all the settings of the program. There's no other further additional screens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each option with you so that you can understand and make the most of the software. So if we start over here on the left hand side, we have our first option is to choose our grid size. Now we can choose anything from 4x4 all the way up to 15x15, and this obviously controls our grid size here. So if I click update preview, you'll see that we have one that's 4x4 here. Now typically the smaller the grid, the easier it is and the quicker it will generate. The larger the grid, the more complicated and potentially the longer time is needed to generate. So bear that in mind when you create your puzzles. Our next one here is what operators to use. So if you click here, you'll have a list of default ones. So the question mark here creates a no operator puzzle. So what this means is typically when you get a Calcudoku puzzle, you'll have these will be blank. You won't have this is the solution here. Typically you have the number and the operator that is required for you to get to that total number. In a no operator puzzle, that's the question mark one here, the operator isn't provided and the person working out the puzzle is required to also work out the operator. If we choose plus addition, that means all of our sums will be addition, and then same for times / multiplication, all of the sums will be multiplication. And then here we have an option for plus and minus, so addition and subtraction. That means all of the sums in here will either be worked out by addition or subtraction. And then we have multiplication and division. So again, all of our sums in our puzzle will be worked out by multiplication or division. If I just update that, I can show you. So all of them are multiplication or division. And then finally, we have the full whack. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So it's worth bearing in mind that by choosing operators here, for example, the ones that have more than one operator, and in particular the one here that has all four operators, is that the program doesn't guarantee that all of those operators will be included in every puzzle. By choosing it as an option, that makes the operator available to the program. So do bear that in mind. Our next option here is to set a maximum total. So where this comes in handy is, say we're trying to control the difficulty of our Calcudoku puzzle. And for example, say if I go, let's do a 9x9 and update that. And then, as you can see here, we do have some larger totals, for example, 336, 144, 240. So what this does, if we set a maximum total in here, this means we won't get a group or a cage where the total is more than the number that we put here. For example, we could put, we don't want a total above 100. So we put 100 in, and then the maximum total we'd see on this grid for any of the cages is 100. After this is pretty self-explanatory. We have the option to choose how many puzzles we want to generate. Again, this is not limited. You can put in as few or as many as you like. We have the option to choose a custom puzzle file name and solution file name. You can again put anything you like in here. If you don't put anything, it will default to puzzle and solution. we can choose our starting sequence number. So by default, it's on 0, so you'd get puzzle 0, solution 0, puzzle 1, solution 1, and so on. Again, you can change that if you wish. Now, after this, we have our export format. So we've got 3 options here. You have PNG and JPEG, which are both raster formats. And if you choose one of these, what you can do is choose your output size. For example, you might want 4000 by 4000. And then we also have SVG, which is a vector. And because it's a vector, there's no option to choose the width and height because you can scale it to any size without any quality loss. And then almost at the end here, we have the option to choose where we want to save our puzzles. So let's create a folder here, call that puzzles. And in here, let's do puzzle. And then let's make another folder, solution. So let's do puzzle for that one. And then let's do solution for this one. Now, after this, if you want, you can tick the button here to shut down your computer after generation is completed. So, for example, if you're creating a lot of puzzles or particularly ones that are a lot larger, a lot more complicated, and you leave it running overnight and you want to shut down the computer when it's finished, tick this box and then it will do that. But just make sure you save all of your work before you obviously generate if you're using this option. So that's the basic settings. What we're going to take a look at now is actually our styling and how we want our grid to look. So as you can see here, I'm on a 9x9, and what you can see here is obviously if we bring that up a bit larger, you can see here for 2 reasons, because of the font size and because of the placement of these solution numbers, they're actually getting a little bit lost in here. So what I can do is I can bring those numbers down. So that's the number vertical alignment. So I can bring that down, hit update. And now that number sits lower in the cell. Also, what I can do, for example, is I can decrease the sizing of the font. So the cage total font size is here. So that's the font size of the number and the operator on the top left. And the number font size are the numbers that are in the middle of the cell. So for example, I can decrease this slightly. Let's try 10. And then already we can see that looks a lot better and a lot cleaner like that. Obviously you can change your font as well. So this is a list of default ones that you have installed on your computer that are compatible. Again, whichever one you choose, make sure you have the appropriate rights to use it. And again, if you want to see a preview, obviously just choose your font and hit update, and that will change our preview like so. Now after this, we have the option to choose or change, should I say, our default operators. So at the minute, obviously we've got the plus symbol, minus, times, divide, and question mark symbol. But what we can do, if you wish, is you can change these to anything that you want. For example, let's put anything random in some of these. I'll just write the word, for example. And hit update. You'll see it then updates my operators. And again, you can put any word, any symbol, anything you like in here. Let's take that back off. Our next option is we can replace our numbers with Roman numerals. So at the minute, I have normal Latin numbers. If we tick this, we can replace them all with Roman numerals. And again, if I was using this option, I would have to adjust the font size again, because as you can see, some of them go outside the edges. And then we can also replace numbers with another character. So you can change the numbers using the grid. So I'll go back to update this. You can replace numbers with, again, whatever character you like. Just update it here. For example, if I just put 1 in for that, all instances of 1 would be converted to 1 like that. Let's take that back off and hit update. Now finally here, we have our options for our grid. So we can choose our grid line color, and by default this is black. But for example, we could go for a lighter gray and apply that. We can choose our group line color. So these are these thicker lines here. And again, you can choose any color. I'm going to leave that on black. We can choose a color for our operator and total. So that's this number up here. Again, I think I'm going to leave that in black. And then finally here for the color, we can choose our number color. So that's these numbers here. So let's put that on a gray, hit update. And then finally, we have options to control our grid line thickness. So the grid line thickness are all the lines that are not the group lines. So these ones in between here. Let's make that a bit thinner and update. And then finally, we have our group line thickness. So these are these thicker lines here. So let's make that a tad thinner, like so. So once you've got your styling and your formatting and you're all happy, all you have to do is hit the generate button and then wait for the process to complete. Now, obviously, if you want to, you can hit the cancel button if you think it's taking too long or you've realized you made a mistake, and this will stop the process. And then you can, again, obviously make your amendments that you want and hit the generate again. So this is almost completed now. And then we're completed. So now if I go into my puzzles folder here and go into my puzzles, I have my 5 puzzles started at 0, like I requested in the program. So if I just load one of them up for you, you can see here the styling matches what I designed in the program. And then if I go back to here, and then I show you the solution, and again, all matches exactly what I set in the program, and they're all ready for you to obviously do what you want with them, either to import them into PowerPoint or however you want to use them, you can. So I hope this quick video helps you get started using the Calcudoku generator. Thank you for watching.